Well, it is Tuesday at 7. It is summer of 2024.
Yes, sir.
And if you watched the last time we were together, it was lockdown. It was 2020. You ventured over to our house, down into our basement, and we wanted to pick up kind of where we left off. And there's a lot that's been going on in the last 4 years.
There sure has. For those who are new to the show, my name is Macklin. The last time I talked with Roger, I was in a whirlwind in a world of hurt. My whole life was changing, and now we are 4 years advanced from that time, and so much has been sorted out since then.
Yeah.
What did you say? The last time we talked, I was looking for a studio space.
Yeah, I think one of the last things we asked were like, okay, so what's going to happen in the next 12 months? You said, well, first of all, I'm looking for a studio space and looking for some of those things. And I love the fact that we're interviewing 4 years later in your studio space and celebrating what's going to be a pretty monumental show, I believe.
Fingers crossed. I hope monumental is one of the taglines they use when they write about it. But yeah, I have to say that search went on for a long time to find a studio. I came across a couple different places. One was a giant warehouse. I tried that out for a while. I ended up paying $400 a month for about 6,000 square feet of unfinished warehouse space with a single bathroom and no heater. So it was wintertime, didn't work out too well, but I had a lot of space, had a lot of fun in that area. And then eventually, since I was month to month, I got kicked out because someone else needed the whole thing and they were going to pay more 10 times as much as I was.
More than that. Well, guys, we appreciate you joining us this Tuesday. Stick with us and buckle up, because for the next 30-ish minutes, there's no rules on Tuesday at 7, as long as we don't get kicked off and such. But stick with us, because we're going to be talking about Mac's journey. In case you might not know his background, I think you shared with us that beginning of your creative journey that you grabbed a camera and you and your good friend Logan started to make videos.
We sure did.
And that was the beginning of a journey that you've continued, maybe not quite 2 decades later, but
17 years, I guess, right now. Yeah. Started around 12 years old, making YouTube videos with my good friends here, and just kept persisting, trying out all the mediums along the way.
Yeah. So, guys, stick with us. Tuesday at 7, it is just a network of artists. We gather once a week digitally. Sometimes we gather other times in person, like we might be doing here and reporting on Mac's show. But if you joined us 2 weeks ago, we were with I think it was 3 weeks ago, that we were with Ben from Splice Cream Chuck. Okay. And Ben is a phenomenal composer. He's got a great story. He's launched the whole idea of the Splice Cream Chuck, which is splicing together communities by telling stories. Okay. And he drives that Splice Cream Truck, and he cuts a single lathe record for folks who tell their stories or go ahead and provide some type of spoken word poetry, maybe perform a song. And so he has been changing communities one story at a time. But if you shared that video, I think it was 3 weeks ago, Ben, correct me. I think it was 3 weeks ago. But if you shared that video, your name is in this hat. And if if your name is drawn, we're going to set up a specific time to meet with Ben and the Splice Cream Chuck. You're going to cut your own record album.
Cool.
So great thing, but we'll go ahead and pick.
I'm picking the person.
Winner, yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right.
And thank you everybody for your shares.
Who's it going to be? It's someone that's very deserving and very worthy, and their name is Sean Smith.
Sean Smith. Sean, thank you. I think he said he shared his homie's video, which is me. Sean and I worked together decades ago. Thank you, Sean, for your share, and we'll make sure that we connect you with Ben, so you could get that story or that performance and get your record cut as well. But we're excited because even after that, the very following week, we did a quick pop-up with Dr. Sketchy out of Akron.
Uh-huh.
So thank you, Dr. Sketchy, as well. But we're here to talk about your journey now. For folks that are jumping in right now, one of the things that we encourage you to do is share this interview, because in the very bottom of your Facebook, or even if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a share button. And when you press that share button, it will Facebook will go ahead and kind of guide you through that process. If you've never done it before, you could share it to a group, you could share it to a specific friend or friends, or you could share it to your friend list. But when you press that share button, you're doing the community, the creative community in Ohio, a service, because you're getting the story out, and Mac's story is one to get out. But when you share it, next week, we're going to do a similar drawing, and there's going to be a winner drawn for a piece of work, and we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm excited to share what I have for everybody.
All right.
Or one lucky person, I guess.
Yeah, one lucky person. But everybody who shares gets the opportunity to be in that drawing. I want to bounce around a little bit, but one of the big things that we want to celebrate together is that in just a little bit over a week and a half,
yes,
you are having your first solo full gallery art show.
I sure am. That is very correct. August 2nd is the opening night for Mac's Big Art Show, and I'm excited. I'm terrified. I feel totally unprepared, and all of the emotions of self-doubt, uncertainty, I'm amazing, this is going to be great, are just all fluctuating throughout my brain. And it's going to be quite the night, to say the least.
In years in the making, right?
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, not just 4 years since we met last, but this has been a vision for some time.
It sure has. I think I really started picking up the painting back before I came to Cleveland. So the fact that I've never done a show or even been interested in having a show is kind of bizarre. But yeah, for some reason this year it finally clicked that I needed to put my work on display and gather a whole bunch of people into one spot to create the event that, as far as I'm concerned, would really launch my local career in a way, because the online presence has always been there.
Yeah.
And I need to do something a little bit differently in order to really bring my community together and just make sure that I'm going in the right direction with everybody on my team going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you who have been following Mac's journey, you know that the friend he was speaking of, that young friend where they picked up a camera and they started shooting YouTube videos, is Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is Logan Paul, scheduled at some point, right? Hopefully to fight Mike Tyson.
His brother, Jake.
His brother, Jake. Yeah, that's right. His brother, Jake. And what we had talked about is I said, I grew up with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And I said, Mike Tyson has a crazy factor. And your response to me was, but you grew up with
Jake, who will fight Mike. And yeah, Jake also has a crazy factor. Is that what I said? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. You said, but I grew up with him and he's crazy too.
Yeah, well, he just fought last weekend, and I think that showed, as he completely annihilated his opponent, Mike Perry, who's a well-known bare knuckle fighting champion. Just an interesting young guy who's seemed to take on every challenge head on and has come out the victor in 10 out of his 11 fights. So I think the other thing I said to you specifically was Mike Tyson's nickname, Iron Mike, and over time, as iron gets oxidized, it starts to rust. So yes, he's an older man, but he's still Mike Tyson. He's still Iron
Still Mike Tyson.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting match.
Yeah, well, we're interested in who you guys think will win out there. But the reason I brought that up is just kind of put some space here. But I think from my perspective, you might have a little crazy as well. And let me share why, right? Because you have been traveling, you have been, launching. You have gone in many different directions, and you were a co-host. Is it a third? What's the correct? Co-host of Impulsive, which is one of the nation's or perhaps the world's top podcasts. And you're just crazy enough to go, I'm going back to Cleveland.
Yeah. I decided to step away from that lifestyle, and it was a good time. It was, as you know, it was the pandemic, and the world was very strange, and internally something was not right with me. So it was a good opportunity to come home, recenter, focus on my craft, and put myself in the direction that I felt was right for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's crazy. I think that's maybe more level-headed, but it's a good opportunity if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. You left one space, and you went to the space that was right. I think that I even may have shared last time we met that as I watched some of those Impulsive episodes, the dynamics were interesting. And the one thing that I do remember is that you added maybe a right brain, I don't know if that's the right word, a creative perspective on the topics that were being discussed on that show. And that resonated, like your viewpoints resonated more with me than, the others, because I think we creatives think about things differently.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, that show at the time, and I guess to this day, is still kind of news and media focused. There's a lot of fun and hijinks that go on. Big comedy show. I've always been a bit more serious when it comes to conversations, but my analytical or creative mind on the opposing side of the table was always the very much third perspective. So it was, I think it was a right fit, but I'm super grateful for my time on that show and everything it taught me, and how prepared I am now to be in any sort of media situation and feel very comfortable for it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you joining us today. We appreciate you guys joining us as well. We want to encourage you that if you're watching this, if you press that share button, you'll get an opportunity to win a piece by
Should I do it now?
Yeah, let's do it. A piece by Mac.
Let's see what we got here, gang. So I'm doing a lot of print testing, and this is a test print for a photo that I just took in downtown Cleveland. And this is the RTA track going into all of the textures I could possibly pack into one photo, which I find very interesting. There's graffiti, there's brick, there's metal, there's wires, there's everything. So I'd love for someone to take this one home. If you want to share, please do. I will certainly be signing this one. And yeah, it's yours.
Now, photography, I think you shared was one of the mediums, but you stretch into, first of all, kind of digital creation, right? Certainly podcasting. You've got a really strong presence out on Instagram. There's a lot of followers, a lot of content there. Put a lot out on YouTube.
Not so much these days.
Not so much. Is Instagram, is that maybe your main?
Yeah, definitely now. Certainly noticed that YouTube videos require a lot of effort, attention, and energy to edit properly. And I'm seeing great results with short, low effort Instagram videos. So I just kind of have to follow the trend on that one, because I'm not really the type of person anymore that wants to sit and edit a video for a long period of time.
Yeah. That's fair. For those folks who are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, what's the easiest way to find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is Macklin, Maclin. It's
thank you, Beth.
fairly easy to find. The profile picture will look like me.
When you were out correct me if I'm wrong, you were out and you were kind of finishing maybe your focus with Impulsive and you were also starting to create your own, is it your Mind brand?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't exactly know what it is. I've always observed the word mind as a huge totem in my life that I focus on. I love all things mental, all mental abilities, what's possible through the brain, thinking, meditation, that kind of thing. So my company, as I call it, is Mind. And from there, I've made clothes and different objects and things, but I kind of keep it quiet and I don't tend to do too much with it. I just let it be what it is.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that that I enjoy with your some of the things that you create are your Mind books.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I want to share because I think that over the last several years, I filled 2 or 3 of the Mind books.
Okay.
And I have one here as well. And I'm kind of a mental and write things that I kind of filter. But this is a Mind book that I think I got on a reorder here, and
With a custom cover too.
custom cover, some paints.
Yes.
And what I do,
So for the people that
yeah.
don't know what it is, it's 10 pieces of very thick paper that I hand bound with 2 jump rings, as they're called. This paper is specially imported from my secret source. It is hemp recycled paper. It's used typically in watercolor paintings, but it is sturdy, durable, bends nicely, fits in the pocket perfectly well. And for me, I use it when I go out and walk without a cell phone. That's where I write all my thoughts, all my poetry finds its way into these books. So for any artists, illustrators, writers, thinkers, list makers, it's perfect for you.
The other books become heritage pieces, I believe, too, because you said this is 2020 and 2021, and
Yeah.
these are the things that jumped out of my life or out of my environment and were important enough for me to log down. But I actually along the way actually have this little piece, and that is during our last interview that we were talking about not only your photography, but we were talking about very often subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you had said nature, and I asked you, I says, well, what's your, what do you focus on most? Is it portraiture? And you're like, no, I like nature. And your response was, nature will never ask you to Photoshop her wrinkles.
That's awesome. Yes, it's so true, and I still say that to this day. Not necessarily in that phrasing, but it's so true. You could take any picture of planet Earth, and it will not ask you to fix it, adjust it. You certainly can if you need to. If you have to remove that one pesky wire that's in the way of your beautiful sunset shot or whatever. But yeah, she will not ask you to do that, but a model might.
Yeah.
A human model.
I know that there's a bunch of photographs. Is that where you're spending time in the last 12 months, or are you flexing other creative?
I definitely go
muscles?
back and forth on all of my mediums. Some days I'm a photographer, some days I'm a poet, some days I'm a painter. And I have to say that something happened in my photographic career recently where I feel like I'm taking better pictures and I can edit them better. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the time I've spent on it, but I definitely feel more comfortable than ever walking around with my camera and finding an image that I feel great about sharing.
Do you believe that's a milestone that's resulted in taking, let's just say, one must take 25,000 photos?
Yeah, the 10,000 hours thing.
What I mean,
I'm not sure. I mean, I was looking through my archives the other day, and I number every photo shoot I've ever done. So I keep a long list of how many things I've done, and that's for every single piece of artwork I create. All my poems, all my music, all my photography for photo shoots, we'll call it. And this one was number 468 or something, where I took this one. So I've gone out, captured 468 moments, days, or times or whatever it might be, at least to get to this one. I'm up at in the 500s now. But yeah, I don't know if it's around the 400 something mark that happens, but that's certainly a significant amount of photos, and pales in comparison to some of the greats, I'm sure. But I would definitely say that over the course of time, your eye gets better, and now I'm more confident, more comfortable with my work than ever. That's what I'm coming to right now.
Digital work,
Mm-hmm.
mind books,
Mm-hmm.
photography,
Mm-hmm.
poetry, music,
Mm-hmm.
and what might one expect if they were to walk into Mac's show?
If you're going to walk into Mac's Big Art Show, what you're going to see is a whole bunch of really amazing people having a really fun time, and my artwork will happen to be on the walls. There's going to be a ton of extra large paintings. I have 3 6x8s that will be going up. I have 8 or 9 4-foot by 5-foot paintings. I have a handful of 36-inch by 48-inch paintings, and then 175 small paintings. They range from abstract to figurative, but mostly fun figurative. I'm not a very figurative painter, but there'll be that. There'll be 20 some large photo prints and 50 never before seen poems that are written in a unique format that you'll have to view in a special room that I have set up.
Is your event, is this show open to the public?
It is unfortunately not open to the public on opening night. That is invite only, but the following week it will be. And that will be August 5th through the 11th. It'll be open to the public. Anyone who can walk in. I'll be there from 10 a.m. until I think about 8 p.m. most days. So it'll be a all-day event for anyone that wants to come by.
In terms of, we're blessed. When I say we're, I mean Beth and I were blessed because what arrived in our mailbox, snail mail box, not our email box, our snail mail box was an invite here, and I wanted to. Is it okay if I show this?
Sure.
This invite, all right? So this invite, what I noticed is there were no shortcuts of this invite. I mean, this is the handmade painted?
I'll show you. I'll show you. So the fun part about these is that we really took our time to make sure that each one was handmade and customized. And I'm a big fan of stencil work. So what I did was I went to the local library, and now I've taught myself how to 3D model. So I 3D printed some stencils in order to, well, let me probably not put it on the print, but it's fine. 3D printed stencils so I could spray paint on each and every single one of those invites. And it took a while. I had 2 amazing helpers, my friends Jake and Olivia, who I put to work that day. It was probably one of the hottest days of the year. And we were out there spray painting, moving them around, gluing the information on the back to the page, and then sticking stickers on the envelopes so that they would all look like the emoji of the love letter when you first get it. So,
and then there were 2 cards in here. Is there a backstory to the King and Queen of Hearts?
Certainly. So the King and Queen of Hearts cards were included in every single invitation. Sometimes it was a king, sometimes a queen, sometimes it was both, sometimes it was one invitation went out, and I sent out 16 King of Hearts cards, but they're all different. And the reasoning for that is that I would love to encourage everyone to come to this royal event and feel their most incredible and like they're an honored guest. But those are the raffle tickets that are going to be pinned to the wall, to a board that I have over there. and I will be selecting from that in a unique way who the winner of the free painting raffle is.
Oh.
So they're kind of like your tickets plus your entrance to the raffle.
Mm. Well, thank you for including us.
Of course.
I know that there are several folks that will be watching this video that have also received special invites, because we are, some of our creative circles overlap, and if you guys have an invite as well, I think this is going to be an event, an experience that we'll not have anytime soon.
That's the goal. I keep saying that I'm trying to create one of the most unique events for this whole year. This is my first one, so obviously it's unique for me, but I'm really taking the audience's perspective into consideration here, and I want to make sure that everyone comes and sees this portion of my mind that I've been tossing and turning over for months now, and shows up, has a great time, meets new amazing people, and leaves with a perspective of themselves and hopefully me that they can carry forward and look forward to more exciting events like this to happen.
Yeah. Well, we are excited, first of all, to continue to stay in contact. Beth and I are really excited to come experience the show. There's some really memorable work that I've seen come out. I love the fact that on your social, on your social platforms, that you show some in process. I love the fact that you even captured the moment when your team of two folks and yourself were creating these cards.
Yep.
There's something unique about somebody who is going to take that extra effort to create a card, snail mail an invitation. That is, I think, unique in, certainly in our generation. In the next, I know that you've been probably heads down focused on this show. I know that you always have things on the back burner and maybe a third burner back. What's next?
Oh, book two would be next after this. It'll be short, but I wrote a whole bunch over the past, let's say, 6 to 8 months that I feel like is very different than my first book. It's, like I said, a very unique perspective. You'll need some instruments and tools to even be able to read this book, but I'm trying to push the envelope on what's possible with poetry, at least my own poetry. So that's next, and then a definitely much needed long break somewhere.
Yeah. Well deserved. We appreciate your great gift. So if anybody is just tuning in here at the end, please share. Your share is really what drives our community. If you share it, we know it, and we'll put your name and drawing for an autographed print of, a large black and white. This is a beautiful piece.
Yes.
Frame worthy, certainly. We appreciate you guys joining us, Mac. We are looking forward to your show, continuing to check out your work, your paintings, your music, your writing, and so just as a quick note, because I'm a big fan of these mind books, obviously, right? Because I think I filled 3 and I have 1 waiting in wait. If somebody wants to buy a mind book or just connect with some of your other things that you have for sale, what's the website, or where do you direct us?
I would say go to my Instagram and then click the links section. If you wanted to specifically get a mind book, I would say go to shop.mind.sx, and that will take you to the shop.
Perfect.
But please wait to place your orders, because I'm a little busy right now. or if you do place an order, I'll get to it soon. Because I hand make every single one, so it takes some time.
Yeah. Thank you, Mac, for sharing your journey.
Of course.
Beth, thank you for arming the camera. And thank you guys for joining us this Tuesday. We'll be back in the next week. And we'll be drawing a lucky winner of Mac's books. Again, thank you for your generosity. We'll see you guys.